Welcome back, everyone. Right or wrong, we're giving it a shot this afternoon. Everyone else is running hard here in this pocket where it didn't rain, so we're going to try to do the same. If you look closely, you can see where about 5 or 6 hours ago we attempted to start, and it came up a little bit chunky. We let the sun work on it all day, and now it's time to try it again. First order of business, air conditioning. I always run on auto. If I can get there. Okay. Get the true set dialed up. Run about 2 inches, that's the wrong direction. The 9620R is not going to need a whole lot of warming up considering it's almost 80 degrees right now. As Socrates said, time heals all wounds and dries all dirt. Our neighbors to the south here, the Currys, planted this 3 weeks ago. We probably should have been out doing the same around this time. That corn looks great. They planted a few feet shy of the property line, and I still almost accidentally ripped out their corn. So dusty, it's hard to tell. Based on the way the tractor's pulling, I'm not confident this is going to look good. This is really dark, productive, black, swampy soil, and it just needs a lot of time to dry. That does not look good at all. Not one bit. I could shallow it up a little bit, try to just scratch the surface. This is some of the best dirt money can buy. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying it's ultra productive if you can drain it. And look at this thing, like you can knock someone out with that. If you spend enough time in the seat, you can just kind of feel what the tractor is trying to tell you. When it gets really soft underneath this crust on top, the wheels really start to spin, and it's obvious to the operator. I'm also not trying to imply that I'm some kind of top-tier steering wheel holder. You do just get a sense to different things. There's a lot better drivers than myself. My Uncle Jeff's phenomenal at running a field cultivator. The dust would make you think it's working perfectly. Look very closely, right there. You see those two streaks in the center of the tillage pass? Those are from the tires on the tractor packing that ground down, and then it's trying to work those slabs back up. Long story short, probably too wet to work today. I was looking for a convenient place to stop and get out and look at the job it's doing, and this thing showed up, so it's kind of a two birds with one stone type of deal. I mean, if you wanted to push it, you could go today, but it sure doesn't look that great.
I'll come up and look at it.
There's always a few different paths forward from any given situation. As I said to Dad on the phone right there, yeah, we could work it wet like this. It's not like we haven't done it before. If you're trying to do the best job possible, put your corn in the best place and chance to succeed, this is not what the seed bed looks like. When you work it wet like this, you're going to have very poor seed to soil contact because this really black dirt in particular just does not powder down. It looks dry, but it's almost like an undercooked brownie, if you will. And of course, the compaction of that tractor running through the field and whatever compaction the field cultivator does, probably not really a whole lot from that. It's just not ideal. Every farmer wants to be getting after it, especially when the neighbors are hitting it hard. There's a lot of guys running here north and west of Mattoon. It's frustrating to sit here and kind of twiddle your thumbs, but if you want to win, you got to be patient and wait for the right time to strike. Probably shouldn't have left the door open. There's the boss right there.
What about down the draw?
The draw wasn't horrible. I'd say 50% of the field looked like this right here.
It won't be any better tomorrow, will it? The question is whether you want to plant tomorrow or not. But there, it looks good. It's, you know, it's going to be the lows. But
The problem with this farm is that it has a significant number of lows.
we've had years that you had to farm it that way because it never dried out. You have an AB line set on this north end?
I think so. if you're dead set on working it, you almost have to work it tonight and let this air out, so when you plant it, the planter will break up the clods tomorrow.
What would happen if we raised that, you know, 2 or 3 cans?
You can try. Just gotta make sure you're getting the weeds. That's why sometimes I wonder if a strip till would be better, because you'd build those berms up and you wouldn't have to disturb the soil.
The second time?
Yeah. You think it's wetter because we worked it a couple weeks ago?
Probably.
What do you think? Work it?
I think we're going to work it.
Okay.
It's going to be cheesy here and cheesy around those inlets, but
As long as you're fine with it, we'll do it.
it's fine to me. Are you going to run this or mine?
That's your call. I'd happily run it, or if you'd rather run it, you can.
I'll go pick up some more rocks. I got those 3 or 4 on the well, or on the, whatever that is, railroad.
Beans coming up on the railroad.
Yeah, look like they got dinged by the hail too.
Alrighty folks, we're doing it today. We are testing the age-old Mother's Day curse. Last year the beans we planted on Mother's Day were some of our best. This year, who knows what'll happen? Just gotta try it out. Dad has already loaded up his corn planter with Pioneer 12065Q, I believe is the number. He is at the field we worked yesterday evening. Jeff has taken that tractor that we used and left there up here to a field of corn stalks. They may be kind of wet, I don't know. Regardless, they're probably gonna get worked and planted into beans today if they're close enough. Hopefully it's a good productive day, because we haven't had one of those in a while. It is going to be very warm and sunny, so I'm just going to acknowledge this right now. Yes, this hat is ridiculous. The main reason I'm wearing it is because I have very fair skin, and I am very prone to skin cancers and different things. I've not had any major issues except for having this thing cut off my nose, so I'm doing my best to not have to have more things cut off. So I apologize, the hat is silly. It's to protect my skin from the sun as much as possible. It's also why you see me in long sleeves most of the time. Jeff just called me from the field of corn stalks. He said it's a little heavy still. We've got the tractor up there. I'm gonna go check it out. I think worst case scenario, we bring it home. Best case scenario, we shut down for 4 or 5 hours, let the sun shine, and maybe that'll fix it. There is absolutely nothing going on south of Mattoon yet. Once you cross Old State Road, maybe 1,000 north, there's a lot of activity. You can only see a little dust plume because of the hill. Jeff's working right there. Last year we had about 300 acres here, but 200 of it was part of some of that farm ground we lost, unfortunately. So we've just got a 90 here left that's owned by someone in the family. So I'm trying to get this done and get moved back closer to home. Yeah, that may need a little bit of sunshine. It's only 11 o'clock, so we got a lot of day left in us here. Looks a little tacky, Jeff, but it's not horrible. What do you think?
Look bad, it's just wet, so, but it's supposed to rain for 4 days.
Well, you want to shut down for a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours, and come back and work it. It'll work a lot better, or we work it now and it'll get time to dry and we can plant it.
What do you think? I mean, you're gonna bust it open, it'll dry.
Let's just go ahead and work it. How deep do you have it set?
1.5. I raised it up and I don't think that was deep enough, so.
And we'll get plenty of time to dry and we might be able to plant it tonight.
Right.
Just like yesterday afternoon, I've seen much better seed beds. There's a lot of moisture in here. It doesn't look terrible, and I think this is probably one of the wetter areas of the field. Jeff said out there where he's at now is fairly dry. Hit it right now, go spend 5 or 6 hours spraying, come back this afternoon, this evening, once this is dried out quite a bit, because this tillage will dry it out, hit it with the bean planter, move on down the road, and hopefully not have to replant it. Those geese look really innocent right about now. Once beans are planted and up, or corn's planted and up, they can do a lot of damage. not quite like some wild hogs. I've seen pictures of those in Texas. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. The geese are just annoying because you got to watch them sit there and eat your crop. And unless you get a nuisance permit, which is kind of hard to obtain from the DNR, you're just going to have to let them do what they want to do.
What is that? About what, 2 inches?
Maybe, 1.75 inches. Dad's already got the ends on the field. He wanted to drop the corn in just a little bit deeper. It looked like it was about 1.75 inches. Probably want to be a little closer to 2 inches because the soil's cloddy in spots. Today, I'd say about 80% of the field looks pretty good, and then some of the really wet areas, like where we're standing here, those don't look good. I mean, that's chunky, rows are bouncing. The only saving grace is that it's supposed to rain nice and gently over the next few days. So if we get that rain, it's not going to be a big deal. But when you do this, these chunks just don't break down, and maybe it's just on top, but you want to have good seed to soil contact. You want to make sure your seed is deep in the ground. I don't even see seed there, but I'm sure there is some somewhere. This is not ideal. It looks good out there in the field though.
18?
That'd be too big.
Stand here. Like that.
One of Dad's outside no-till coulters is running a little wonky. We adjusted the bracket on it to square it up. I'm imagining that once upon a time, either earlier this season or last season or 2 seasons ago, that no-till coulter probably struck a pretty firm object, whether it be a piece of concrete or a big rock, and it bent it, I think is what we're seeing. We're just trying to play around with it to get it in the right spot to cut without having to pay to replace the whole thing. Having 2 tankers for chemicals about to come in real handy, because I am going to load the single compartment one with corn chemical, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to use the dual compartment one to store some rinse water, because we're going to spray that earliest batch of corn while we wait on this bean ground to dry. That way we can accomplish something. A little bit of a rough landing there, sorry. That didn't take very long. That whole saga probably did not make entirely a lot of sense to some of you, and don't worry, I confuse myself too sometimes. That's a 2-compartment tanker. I've got a little bit of residual soybean chemical that I was transferring the other day before that thunderstorm popped up. The rest I just dropped into a mini bulk. I have the ability to switch my agitation direction, or the tank I'm agitating to, and each tank has its own valve that controls it. So I shut one half of it off and then agitated to that tank. That allowed one tank to suck empty, and now we're using the front half of the tanker as a nurse tank because I'll need clean out water once I get this first little batch of corn sprayed. So let the sprayer soak overnight so we can get back to spraying soybean chemicals. What we're post-spraying on corn does not agree with soybeans at all, so you can't mix those up. That's why the 2 tankers are nice, because I can have separate tankers, know what I've got in there to clean out. When I'm spraying on beans, depending on the field, we run a few different mixes. A lot of them are friendly going to corn, even if it's up, but corn to beans never works. It's like snakes. If yellow touches black, you're gonna be a flapjack or something. I don't remember the saying. 878. Guess you have to have one of these. When I went around the block earlier to check on where Jeff was working, once you get north of Mattoon, there was hardly a single field that was still unplanted that didn't have a tractor in it. I mean, there was so much equipment running up that way. South of Mattoon, it's much more sporadic. On the southern close edge, so that's Mattoon right up there, there's a few guys running. There's a noticeable drop-off, though, once you get down to the Coles County line, closer to where our main farm is. There isn't a soul running down there, just all about the luck of that rain last Thursday. These fields had a couple tenths of an inch, and then you get down by us, you have 4/10 to a half inch to an inch, depending on where you're at. It was really sporadic. There's guys running right there. Up tops are working some soybean stubble going to corn. Bells are probably planting corn as well right across the street, and then we're going to be spraying some corn planted 3 weeks ago now? I don't remember. Everyone's trying to catch up. It's still May, but it feels late. We are here. The tanker's supposed to be here any minute. We'll unfold, walk around, check over our nozzles, make sure everything's right, and then get to loading. What else do we need to change? Spray rate. Where's that page at? Go here. That's not the one we want. That's steering, rate controller, rate setup. We're targeting 15 gallons an acre. I think I want to put it at 14.7 just to make sure we don't run out. Enable that. 14. It's not dry. Okay. I think we're good to go. Wave at the neighbors. You always got to wave unless you don't like them. Then you give them the one finger wave. The current wind at home, 5 miles an hour out of the northeast. There was a few gusts that would put us off label. That was probably first thing this morning, the wind that kept everything dry. All right, so tanker's coming down the road. Let's get after it. First field's done. Square 80, pretty easy to spray. We're out here just west of the main farm on that big 220 acre field where we have the NCGA trial plot thing going on over there. Field's a little damp still in spots. I'm not going to finish spraying this right now. I'm going to spray maybe another tank load on it. There's a tile hole. And then probably get in the bean planter and get started planting beans, specifically because I can come back later this evening and spray this. It's hard to get a good planting job once the moisture comes up on a farm that you already worked too wet. That's why I'll probably shut this down here and move on to something else. Oh, look, another tile hole. Oh, it's got water in it. As I was spraying through here, there was a big old group of bugs and I couldn't figure out what it was. I think I drove right through the middle of a swarm of honeybees, which is pretty neat. I've never actually seen one. I sprayed just shy of 80 acres out here. Got another 180, no, about 220 actually, with another field included to do. I'm gonna go plant beans though while the ground is nice and fit. We can come back to this sprayer later. I swung by home to see my beautiful wife and children, and they're gone. It's just me and the dogs and the chickens and that bird. Leave me alone, bird. Loaded up, refreshed, headed north. Even this afternoon, there's really not a whole lot going on once you get 4 or 5 miles south of Mattoon. Our sprayer running is all that I've seen down this way. Again, north of town, they're just running like it's going out of style. You gotta be particularly careful every day, but especially today because it's Sunday, Mother's Day. Oh, look at that, I say that, and there goes the sprayer right there. The irrigator. What I'm saying is you got to be careful on days like today when it's Sunday, really nice outside. There's a lot of motorcycles out and about. Particularly earlier in the year, it's not as bad during harvest time because the motorcycle guys are out of energy by the time summer's over. In the spring, though, they're all over the place, and rightfully so. It's their roads too. You just got to quadruple or quintuply check everything, make sure that you didn't miss a motorcycle guy. It wouldn't be good for anyone. Just wide enough to fit between the lines. Being courteous or blocking all 3 lanes. I'm not sure which. Sorry about the windows. Dad really wanted to use this seed tender because it was already hooked up, but it is not the most convenient thing in the world to use. The green seed tender is all hydraulically and remotely controlled. This one's got a lot of manual things on it. It's not bad to use, but it's a lot nicer when you use the other one because it's basically a one-man show. We've got 3 people here, so I'm just gonna watch. Five hours of sunshine, you can't even tell we worked this thing wet. Beautiful out here. Rain the next couple days, kind of like that corn planted, and we'll have a great stand. I feel sort of like a NASCAR driver right now. They're doing all the work maintaining and filling, and I'm just sitting here waiting on my rig to run. Tanks are full, time to lock and load. Get these Pioneer 38Z63s in the ground. We're gonna target about 150,000 plants per acre, and we've got a full treatment on them. Ready to go. I also think my sister Katie's gonna ride because this is her field, so might as well supervise the operator. I didn't really want to jinx us, so I made no mention of it till now. Planted that entire field without a single issue. Running a few of these extra beans out of the meters. We'll have a little bean bushes here. That way, if we plant a shorter season bean next, like a 3-1, we won't have to clean out the row units, just the tanks. We've got a pickup here, so you see Katie back there in the pink. She's going to go get it. We'll leave this in the waterway tonight. I'm going to try to do a little bit of spraying. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is the prestigious Coles County Speedway behind us. Do mini sprint races there. Come by here on a Friday or a Saturday night. Sometimes it's pretty loud. I'm gonna try to get home and spray a couple hundred more acres. I can do that once the sun has set. That's not a big deal, I guess, unless there's a dew that sets in. There's not a great place to park this tractor except for here in this waterway. It's close to the road. I don't know if it does you any good to try to hide your tractor. You'd prefer to. I see some guys who just park it right up at the road because that's easy, and they never seem to have any vandalism issues. What do you do if someone's going to break into one of these things? They're going to do it anyways. The keys for all these are universal. You can buy them on Amazon. If they're going to run away with it, they're at least going to have to figure out how to turn the battery on. Not that that's entirely complicated itself. Just this switch. This is the longest part of the whole day. Waiting for that light to turn off. Come on. I need to go spray. Tractor's running the whole way home. Finally getting dry just before the rain. If you want to get somewhere fast, you have Katie drive. I don't think that woman believes in a speed limit. Jeff must have broke something. Running solo tonight. I do need to be somewhat careful out here as the sun sets and it cools off. The golden rule of post-emerge spraying is that you do not want to spray into a dew. It's almost the same effect as a rain, unless it's not a heavy dew. Our lows tonight are in the 60s, so we really shouldn't get that much of a dew. It actually could help us because that could disperse our droplets a little more. It's when you get those really quick runny dews that the water takes your droplets off of the leaves of the weeds before they can really digest it. Yeah, basically everyone, I want you to write that part down. That was very scholastic of me. It's the quick runny dews you got to watch out for. That is the The golden lesson of this video. Interesting choice of words. All right, we ready to rock and roll? I think so. Time to load. I've had the tanker just sitting here agitating because it sat for a while I planted. The most important development so far this evening is I found the brightness button for these displays. Almost had to put my sunglasses on. We're almost done with this field. Just now wrapping up this big field that I started earlier in the day before we got distracted planting beans. For the life of me, I don't know why I still have this hat on. I'm just used to it at this point. My concern now is when I was loading the truck, or loading off the truck about 20 minutes ago, I saw some dew on the leaves. I could probably keep spraying at the same time. I've only got one shot at this post-application trip, so I may just shut down and start up earlier in the morning. You don't want to spray before dew, but you can spray on a dew, so you got to be careful going into the evening like we are. You've got a little wiggle room first thing in the morning, so long as the ground's dry. Very light dew so far, just a couple of drops on this. This was sprayed earlier. I don't know. I could keep running. It is getting kind of late. I may just shut down and fire up in the morning, spray the last field, and clean out and spray some beans ahead of the rain. What do my professionals out there think? See these little droplets? We're gonna get much of a dew. Do you shut down? Do you keep running? Again, my answer is probably going to be shut down because I'm ready for some beauty sleep after today. It's been productive. I don't have any complaints, which is unusual. While I've been out here spraying, I've seen a raccoon or some kind of small varmint watching me. I don't see it now. He's just sitting behind the bins as I went back and forth, seeing what I was up to. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to pull this thing straight into my house, driveway, shut her down, go in, offload some files from the camera, say hi to my boys if they're awake, and hopefully give some appreciation to my awesome wife, because she celebrated Mother's Day essentially without me, other than going to church first thing this morning. It's been a really good day. Hope you guys all enjoyed watching. I sure hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!